I think it's quite amazing that we as a football club, and we're not alone, I put other clubs in the category, can compete as well as we do in what has become a very uneven playing field, because so many teams above us are able to go out and scour Europe and scour the continent and scour Africa for the best players. So, there's no prizes for working out that Shobalashai is a good player. You'd have to be living in another planet if you were looking for a midfield player and you hadn't thought about Shobalashai. You'd be living in another. But the fact is, only certain clubs could get that player. So we have to accept to work hard with the ones we got to try and get them to reach the best level they can reach and compete, at an equal level with these players. And I think that's what Palace have done for a number of years. I think it's what Palace will continue to do.
But Peter Bonetti used to wear those gloves. But, you also had that time you had so many good goalkeepers as well, didn't you, in England? It's like John Jackson in any other generation would have played for England but couldn't get past Shilton and Clement.
Yeah, so I think goalkeeper is the obvious one, I suppose. We are really seeing them used as playmakers. They're being used as that extra man, because it's very difficult to press teams if the goalkeeper's good enough with the ball, because all that happens, he just drags your players further forward and opens up spaces behind you for people to play. So we're getting the stage now where goalkeepers are getting a bit more time, strangely enough, because people are working out, well, unless I've got a real good chance of getting there, I'm better off staying, because as soon as I get anywhere near him, he'll just slip past me or pass the ball past me, and we're going to be a man short. I find it very praiseworthy that you have this podcast, which has been going for 500 editions, and for so many years. 2008 you said, that's almost 16 years, and you're prepared to get round a table once or twice a week and provide for the fans some sort of insight into your Crystal Palace, because a football club is a fans' club. It is, but fans can enrich that club and send it forward and keep it going, keep the lifeblood going. But fans, unfortunately, also can suck the blood out of clubs. And you've mentioned 2 or 3 already early on in the podcast where that's definitely happened, where the heart and the desire and the burning ambition has not been linked to what the club is capable of achieving. Now, I don't think that's the case with us at all, but certainly the work you do is very useful, I think, in that respect, in putting a sane point of view forward at a time when sometimes sanity is hard to find, because football is emotional, and when you're emotional, you don't think with your head, you don't have vision, you don't have perspective, you just want to change. For example, after the game on Saturday, I wanted to hurt someone. I hurt myself.
What is the deal with Ray Lewington wearing shorts all the time?
No, I don't know. I think that might go back to the old days. I'm trying to think of his name. Brian Birch was his name. But when I was at Harmstead I think it would have been about 76, 77, he came over from whichever club he'd been at in England, and he was a Busby babe. He had quite a reputation. And he took over this team in the league below, the top league. Not far, funny enough, from where I was working. And I went down in a pre-season, so it had been a late January, early February, training on sand pitches. And the story goes that he actually went out there, and his first day, dressed in shorts, of course, and just a sweatshirt, and he got all the players lined up. And they had hats and gloves and scarves and tracksuit tops and God knows what. And he said, right, who are the goalkeepers? And a couple of guys put their hand. He said, right, you can come forward now. Take your hat off, take your scarf off, take those tracksuit bottoms off. You can keep your gloves on. Now the rest of you, I don't want to see any gloves, no scarves, no hats, whatever. So Swedes being Swedes, they actually did that. Yeah. But then 2 days later, he was in hospital with pneumonia.
Oh my word!